Today, I want to talk about rotating a cylinder in 3D space, like at eye level. So I'm going to start off by drawing a line, going through our horizon. I mean, it's just to show that it's sitting in front of it and we're looking at the horizon. And I'm going to draw an ellipse above. An ellipse above, and I'm going to draw an ellipse below. Sorry, I keep spitting on my tablet. I don't know why. I'm going to redraw that ellipse. I'm trying to make it more. Now let's do this. And the ellipse below. It's not the most perfect cylinder, but please bear with me. And for our sake, I'm actually going to erase a part of the ellipse, and please watch me when I do this. So I'm looking right now up here on the top one. I'm going to erase like a portion of the ellipse that we see, and basically it's just to show that, well, I'm gonna try to make it a little bit, and the whole idea is to make it show that the ellipse is above us, and basically based on our viewing angle, it's above us. And I'm gonna erase a portion of that just to show that, just so I could have better clarity of the cylinder. And if you look now below, I'm going to erase the farther half of the ellipse that we use to to portray our dimensions of this cylinder. And I'm gonna show it again. This is just to show that, like, I kind of turned it into a partial ellipse. It's to show that, like, this sits above us, and this ellipse sits below us, and like our eye level is right in this area because it's the horizon. So that's how the cylinder sits in 3D space. So before, I did another video in which I showed how you could kind of use slices of like a sphere to kind of represent the like to show how you could perhaps rotate a sphere by encapsulating an ellipse within the sphere to kind of show how it goes. But like when you have a cylinder, you have curvature, but like from our viewing point, it's kind of like it's basically just going to be a straight line. So let me show you. If you look at this line here, it's basically like a section of our cylinder. So it's kind of weird because, like I said, like it's not a sphere and it's not a box, and it kind of lives as like these weird slices. Now, I guess if you would kind of cut our sphere, like if you would divide it, like I kind of cut a line through the middle, and if you were going to like take those pieces and look at it from another angle, if you're going to like look at it from, let's say, from the front, it would kind of look like that. You could think of it as like a chunk, and it definitely has like some it has like a dimension to it. It's kind of like kind of like that. I don't know, I'm thinking like a roof, but you know, you have like, you have two halves. You have that half and you have the half over. Oops, I did it too much. And you know, you would have like two halves. So I'm gonna go back for a second. Darn, I wish I could have kept those. You know what, I'm gonna keep those. Let me think of the redo button that I totally forgot. So it's Control Y. Sorry about that. I just have to erase a chunk. I made a line here that I didn't mean to do, but hey, that is the nature of the thing. I'm gonna merge those layers. Okay, so back to what I was talking about, trying to portray how it's going to rotate. So my normal logic would want to say that as we go, and I'm going to add layer, oops, shoot, I didn't duplicate it, but I'm just going to draw on top of it, and you'll see as I go. So, you know, we have a line here. Let me do that one more time for you, just to like really nail in the point. And I'm going to do this on separate layers to show you how it kind of like all adds up together to create. So we have that line here. I want a new layer, and basically you could kind of think of it as, well, it's simple. I'm gonna, you know, there's like a bunch, like you could think of an array of these slices that would cut through here. So like, you know, if you rotate it, if you would like move, if, let's say we're moving the cylinder, oops. If we were moving the cylinder, okay, sorry. I'm gonna go on this layer real quick. If we were moving the cylinder like to the right, or in this case, it's kind of, let me think how to do it. It would kind of be like that. If we were moving the cylinder, you know, to the right, I'll just do a line that we're like moving it to the right. And it's staying in place, so it's not like, think of like there's, you know, it's being held in place, it's staying where it's at, and it's rotating. So that line would eventually become that line. What the heck did I do? I'm sorry. I don't know what I did. I may have, I did something wrong, but just forget that I did that. And at this point, I'm on a new layer, and I'm just going to draw another line. It's kind of like, you know, basically wrapping around the curvature of our cylinder. And as we go, eventually the line is going to be over here, and you know, it's still on that curvature of the sphere. And basically when you rotate it more, our line is going to be like out of view. So like at this point it would be right there, like it would be like the edge of our visibility. So at this point, just to tell you that at the next layer, the line is actually going to, like, as we rotate this cylinder more, as we rotate it more, our line is going to be behind, so it may not be visible to the user, but because we're like drawing behind our forms, it's going to be visible. And I'm going to go back to the first layer and just kind of like, okay, I want to emphasize like this area, because I drew it as a partial ellipse, but now that I'm thinking of it, I'm going to draw it again. And the important thing here is that, why is that not going? The important thing here is that there's a area behind it. Like, I'm going to draw the bottom layer too. Don't know why. That's so weird. But basically, you know, there's like a layer behind it. And to represent that, I drew another line kind of like showing that, like right here. Like if you look right here, it's connecting to like the back of her lips here and to the back of the ellipse here. Because like we have to draw through her forms to show how it's connected. So I'm going to rotate it more. And you'll see that the line is, you know, still right here. It's still behind. And then, you know, we'll, as we go, eventually you're going to reach a point and it's going to, you know, be like directly in front and directly behind. Because just to reiterate one more time, like this top of the ellipse here, this like top section, that's like the front. Like this whole, you know, you have to kind of think that you have X-ray vision and you're seeing through it. But like it could be difficult to see unless you draw it a bunch of times, but just know that this line that I just drew is not in the front, but it's on the back of the cylinder. Excuse me, sorry. And I'm going to rotate it a little more. I'm going to try to get that a little bit more perfect. And it's there. And as we go, it's even closer to the edge. And as we go, another line would be, you know, because we've rotated it so much, it's going to be like at that angle of our curvature. So like we draw a line, but you're just not going to see it rotating. So it's definitely there. And we rotate it more. And at this point, we can see our line again. And please note that I drew the line to show that, you know, it's hitting the front of our cylinder again, like here and there, to show that, you know, it's within our viewing angle again, and we don't have to have X-ray vision to look through the cylinder to see where that is. So as we go, it's getting closer to the point that I'm going to draw one more line right here, and we've done like a full rotation at this point, which is pretty cool, because we've done, you know, we pretty much made it, we made this line go all the way around. We made it wrap around to the point where it started again. So I jumped between some frames. I didn't draw every individual frame, but I wanted to show how all of those you know, add up to do the rotation. Now I want to show one other thing that's important to understand, and it has to do with curvature. Because I just did a line, but I think a lot of people are going to want to they may want to map lettering onto it, or if you think of a face has different facial features, and depending on the viewing angle, not only is it inset into that thing, but it's wrapping around it, so it's, you know, it's wrapping around that curvature. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to hide these layers again. Oops. I'm actually just going to quickly erase the line I drew here. Just to show you. And you have better yet than that, I'm going to erase that because I feel like I hit that point enough. And I'm going to show you how to show like the series of ellipses that make up the curvature of our cylinder. Again, I'm going to do it on a new layer. So as we know, that's eye level. And if you could think of this like a Roman column, you know, if we were a person, I'm not really good at drawing people, but let's say we're a person and we're looking at eye level at this cylinder, right through this, about the center of it, it would look like a line, much like a penny, because of basically because, you know, I mean, it doesn't look like a penny, it looks like a line to us. I talked about this time and time again. It's an ellipse, but from our viewing angle, if you could think of it as a cent piece turned to the side, you know, it has a certain thickness to it, and it has layers. If you get like any coin in your house, and you know, it has like ridges to it, but in this case it's just an ellipse, so it just looks like a line based on our viewing angle. Below the horizon, we're like above it, so all of our ellipses, you can kind of think of it as well, you know, they're above it, so it's kind of like this. And as we get closer, oh, you know what? Okay, so I actually made a little bit of a mistake here, but I'm gonna do it from the bottom. Because of the viewing angle, I believe the degree is larger, and as you get higher, the degree kind of like flattens out, because these ellipses are below us, and eventually, you know, the closer we are to the center, I'm going to do that one again. The degree is thinning out, and at the top here, it's going to be the greatest. And okay, so you know, these ones, look at the way they wrap around the curvature. We're above it, and we're looking below that. This is eye level, so we're looking like directly at it. And as we go up this cylinder, the degree is going to widen. I want to show it a little bit more. And it's going to get larger until, you know, you get to the top, because the degree here, I believe, would be the largest based on our viewing angle, because we're below looking above. And that's why it looks like that, if we could see through it because of our perspective. I'm going to connect all these ellipses just to kind of show you. Like, I did partial ellipses, but you could always do greater. The middle doesn't need to do that because based on our viewing angle, it's a line. Okay. And that's how that would be. Now I'm going to draw another layer, and I kind of want to show you that another touch point is curvature. So let's say we have the letter T, right? Let's say like it's a bubble letter. It's not going to be perfect. I'll try, but it's not perfect. But the point here is when you're wrapping it, you know, depending if you're directly at the front or above or below, there's going to be like a different way to map the curvature. So I'm going to draw a cylinder over here again, and I'm going to show you what it would kind of be like. So as we know, there's like a curvature kind of wrapping around it here, and I'm gonna show. Sorry that I keep jumping around. I'm gonna show you here how it would, how like the T would wrap on it. Okay. So as long as the important thing to note is because we're following our ellipse. Let's say that like a portion of our T isn't visible, but another portion is, right? So I followed that line, the top of our T right here. I followed it to wrap around the curvature of our cylinder. So because it's a bubble letter, you know, of course, like, and we're above the horizon, it would all like wrap like that, right? And you know, as you kind of middle out, it's still going to be like wrapping around there. Or actually, you know what? Because now like we dipped below, I believe it would kind of be like that. I probably should have just kept it to the top or the bottom. That was probably a bad move on my end. But no, I think this is the important point. And as you can see, I mapped like a portion of the T. The reason why we can't really see the other T is because it's on the other side of the curvature. And I just drew another line right here to say like if we had like 3D vision, you could think of it as it's kind of, you know, it's wrapping, the T is wrapping around here. Like there's still, okay, so I just drew like that portion of the T, but this portion of the T wraps around the curvature. Like it's not disappearing, it still exists there, but we just can't see it based on our viewing angle. So I drew another cylinder over here, and I wanted to show you that if we were going to draw that T again, and it's at a bit of a different angle, you know, it kind of wraps around that cylinder, and when you draw the lines, it kind of, you know, it's still wrapping. It's always important to try to portray it like that. And I know it's not this scale, but, you know, I'm thinking of how, okay, because I divided the cylinder, like the left half is curving that way, like that way, and the other half over here is like curving that way. It's kind of like split in the middle, and I'm trying to follow like the top and bottom is trying to wrap kind of like that. And it's kind of like you have this not conflicting, but just like it's kind of like wrapping over the curvature of both halves. So, you know, if I like, because this is split, that maps to that, and this end maps to that one, and it's kind of like that. You know what? I'll do one other example for you, because I'm going to like, let's just take the front half here, right? I'm going to draw it down here for you. I'm going to try that again. It's not perfect, but close enough. Okay, so we're just talking about the front where the T was mapped here. If I was going to divide it by the middle, and we're going with our T shape again. Kind of like that, kind of like that, kind of like that, kind of like this half is going up like from the left to the right, and this part over here is going from like right to the left up, and I'm following that curvature. I'm kind of like trying to match the curvature here, curvature there, and for this one I'm matching it, trying to match the curvature here to curvature there, and the middle is kind of like flowing over, like it's following that and that. I didn't draw it through my form here, but it's the same thing, if you get the drift. So yeah, it kind of wraps around the form of the surface, much like if you look at a human face, the eyes, you know, all the facial features wrap around the form that it's attached to. So let me show the layers again, because there's a bunch of good stuff. But yeah, that's generally how I think about ways that you can rotate a cylinder. And it's kind of funny because it seems like you're not rotating the cylinder, but you're rotating like everything but the cylinder. But no, you actually are rotating the cylinder when you do that. But it's like a difficult object to portray a rotation when you're drawing it, because you have to draw through it. You got to map stuff to it to indicate that something is rotating. There are probably other methods to rotate a cylinder, but this is just what I've been thinking about. And I hope this information helps you. If you like it, please let me know. If you like the videos I make, please subscribe if you're interested. But thank you for listening.